Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Plenty of updates ahead of Major 1 in Raleigh, but especially the Esports Awards that went on last night. A load of Call of Duty related awards there, formal, nade job, but also helped, I'm sure, by the Major 1 victory in Vanguard. OpTic Gaming win the Esports Organisation of the Year. Very much enjoy your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. But, my voice is a bit funny today. I don't know why. Maybe I'm a little bit unwell, but it doesn't sound too bad. First of all, this I just thought was funny again on the CDL Pal stuff. Yesterday's video on this did so surprisingly well, I thought, and even yesterday Rotation tweeted out their team of the week with Hydra and Standy here at CDL Pal. I was like, oh my god, not again after what happened before. And then Huke were getting roasted a fair bit actually, because they tweeted this out, blasting this on repeat right now, "Can't Take a Joke" by Drake. So I was like, what is happening here? And I almost ratioed them in the replies, kind of unintentionally, but someone who certainly did ratio them was Mr. CDL Pal, who comes in with ratio. Their tweet got 1,000 likes, his tweet gets 4,000. I guess I'm going to add to the party here. So, yeah, I don't really know what the subliners are playing at now, to be honest, right? Obviously, they tweet this out about not being able to take a joke, whereas that was the whole thing. I guess it's self-deprecating humor. But, yeah, hashtag I stand with Pal. I don't think it got trending again, but it was certainly out there. So, I don't know what's going on here, man, but it's been one of the funniest storylines of the last couple of days. CDL Pal does kind of confirm that from his understanding, there was no kind of involvement from Hydra. So, I don't know really exactly what happened there behind the scenes, whether Hydra was involved or not. I don't believe he really was in this decision, because CDL Pal was fired along with the other guys Star we looked at yesterday, and he confirmed on Twitter that he wasn't fired for that kind of charming soft tweet. I think he was fired before that, or let go before that, because not exactly sure what, in fairness, a lot of organizations right now are letting go staff. I just saw even this morning, Evil Geniuses let go an entire content team, and we've seen this with 100 Thieves, we've seen this with, I think it was maybe NRG and other organizations recently, Cloud9 most certainly right now, letting go of a lot of staff, because, difficult economic times, and you can understand why a lot of these CDL teams that don't make much of a profit, if any, in the first place, are, understandably wanting to cut their costs to a certain extent. Maybe that's part of this, or maybe it was involved with all those tweets that we saw yesterday. And even they then come out with this, right? So I put this on the thumbnail yesterday, the Charmin Ultra Soft, and then they do their own version of it as Subliners Ultra Soft. So, I mean, look, they're trying to make light of their own situation, but I still think it's pretty funny, and I don't know if they're making too many friends right now, but nonetheless, it's still entertaining stuff going into Major 1. Speaking of Major 1, the flight from Dallas to Raleigh, says Clayster, might as well be a CDL sponsored flight. The whole league is here. Pretty funny really that a lot of the teams, Vegas and OpTic and Minnesota, New York and a couple of others, are based out there in Dallas, right, in Texas, and they'll be the ones flying out, presumably on all the same flight out to Raleigh. So I think they maybe had some flight delays and issues, but they got there in the end. So all the players are there in time especially tonight for the Los Angeles Thieves versus London Royal Ravens game, which is actually very crucial indeed, because the seeding there is still yet to be determined. Also, this I thought was interesting. So this COD League event here at Major 1 is going to be a seriously big event. It's not just Major 1 in Raleigh. It's, it's all the other things as well. There's the COD Mobile World Championships, which I'm actually quite excited for, getting to see some decent competitive COD maps, some great competitive COD maps being played, even if it is on mobile, compared to what we have currently in the last few years of the CDL. Also, there's a few other events that are going on there, but it's going to be a massive event. And they've got these kind of upper deck cards. I think we talked about these a while ago. The trading cards that Lion Man makes, they're kind of doing their own thing. I think that Lion Man was meant to be getting involved in this, and then negotiations or whatever kind of broke down, unfortunately. So, I don't exactly know what's happening there, but these are available soon, and I think might be there in person as well at Major 1, or maybe that won't be the case, not exactly sure. And even, yeah, as Lion Man says in the reply, is no, things didn't work out, and Cooper English guesses, and he says, hi, we'd like to take your idea and make us more money, and then not pay you remotely enough for the quality of work. And Lion Man's like, yeah, if I speak, I'm in big trouble. So, yeah, really unfortunate stuff, because Lion Man's done such a great job of this over the last few years. Unfortunately, won't be involved, but the cards are not going to be as good as what Lion Man would make. That is an absolute TacticalRab guarantee. Also, update on Major 1, the Challenger side. So, the play-in is going on today, and we saw what Crone and Ben J. Nassim were saying yesterday, kind of unclear what is going to be streamed and what is not going to be broadcasted. Seems like the Challengers broadcast is going to be entirely streamed. This is really cool stuff, actually. So, starting this afternoon and running all through the night in the UK time, I'll still do my video tonight at the normal time. But nonetheless, there are 8 teams fighting for 4 qualification spots tonight. This is the bracket here. As I said yesterday, my favourites are probably going to be LAG Academy, probably Elevate, maybe the Awoba Bobs as well, potentially the Spanish guys, and I hope the Parasites team, Decimate, can make it as well. These probably should be zeros. I guess the graphics guy designing this left the 3 and it was meant to be zeros, because I doubt they're starting from a tied series score of 3-3. But yeah, yeah, 4 teams qualify. This is the way the bracket works. That's all going to go down tonight. And then those teams, based on where they qualify and what seeding they had going in, that's when you then determine which pools they will slot into. I'm guessing this is, yeah, Pool A, Pool B. And I'm hoping that just like we saw at the Pro-Am earlier this season, back in May or whenever it was, we're going to get some interesting upsets. We saw it was the Ultra Academy then, right, that took down, was it Boston or whatever? Like, there was a couple of good series upsets that happened based on the pro teams that matched up with amateur teams in the, I mean, even Strike X, right, Silly's team. I think they took down Seattle Surge at the Pro-Am. So we probably will see more results like that. And I mean, I don't know if it's even possible for the LAG Academy to get in the LAG group, but like, if that's possible, that would be incredible. Now, of course, there's going to be concerns there about, you know, let's just say competitive integrity. And if you've got your main team in a group and you've got your academy team in a group, there's an incentive to be like, hey, LAG Academy, maybe just don't go as hard in this series if you happen to play the main team. So there were always those concerns, and it probably is unlikely to happen anyway, and they might find a way to avoid that kind of consequence because, like, it does raise some questions. But I know that a lot of people would like to see LAG Academy versus the LAG full roster and just see how that series would go, because they're considered right now to be one of the strongest challenger teams, and the LAG main roster is considered one of the weakest pro teams. And it has been the case in other esports. If you guys follow Counter-Strike at all, there was the case of the, it wasn't, well, it's Cloud9 now, I think former Gambit, their players like Inters and Shiro and these guys that they had on their academy roster, they pretty much took their entire academy roster and replaced the entire starting roster with it, and it actually worked out for the better. So I don't think that would happen here, and like Spart and Arcitys on those 3-year deals, but nonetheless, this could be for Joe Deceives, for example, the LAG substitute, to show that he deserves a spot as an SMG in the starting team over either Huke or Neptune. So that's what's going on there. But also then, with all that being streams, the LA Thieves versus London game is kind of unclear whether that's going to be broadcasted at the same time. And also, I didn't even mention really, but this is on the official Call of Duty broadcast. So the official Twitch channel we've been watching the CDL matches on, not on a secondary one, which is pretty cool as well. But it also means that if the LA Thieves London game is going on simultaneously, where are they streaming that, if anywhere? Maybe it's going to be a Periscope on Benjay Nassim's phone or something once they get that flank setup done. Let's talk Esports Awards of the year then. And I wanted to mention aBeZy here, who won the Streamer of the Year, just because he is involved in the group that recently bought the London Royal Ravens. Well, at least they bought the ownership group, the Rogue group, Wrecked Global, whatever's going on there. It's a mess of an ownership structure. But we believe the Spanish guys, led by aBeZy, effectively bought that out. And he actually did a video not long ago where he was answering some questions about London Royal Ravens and what the future might be. The theory would go that probably he's going to move Royal Ravens, and his organisation, his team are going to move Royal Ravens to Spain, right? You would imagine they're going to become the Madrid team. Now, whether the CDL and Activision are happy with that, or whether they say, no, look, we want a UK team, and if you do want to move it to Madrid or to Barcelona or whatever, then you've got to find, like, I don't know, a willing buyer that's going to take up that London spot, who knows? But yeah, thought it was worth mentioning just because he's obviously making bank right now, and part of that is going towards what could be the, well, the next step for the Ravens, for good or for ill, depending on the way you see it. Now, this from Formal, like, this is such a crazy storyline that Formal has, and in just a few days' time, we are releasing a massive Formal documentary over on the Breaking Point channel. I don't know if we're going to be able to get a trailer up relatively soon. We were working on it for the last few weeks, so I think on the Monday after Raleigh, we're going to release this Formal documentary. It's going to be absolutely fantastic because his career is just so crazy. The fact that he retired like 2021 August, a few months later came back into Halo, and 1 year later has now won not only the World Championship in Halo, but also the Controller Player of the Year yet again. He won it a few years ago. I don't exactly know when he won it a few years ago. I'm guessing like 2017 when he won the World Championship that year and had the craziest performance in the finals. But yeah, so he's won the Controller Player of the Year again. He wasn't there in person to collect it, but yeah, just crazy to think about, right? The career that Formula has had, going from Halo initially, winning like 8 events in Halo, coming to COD and winning another 20 events over several years. Looked like he was kind of washed up and was going to retire, go into content like so many other people do, and then had this final arc of his career that's not over yet necessarily, right? He's going to come back next year, still with the best team, playing better and better, and who knows what this OpTic Halo team can continue to do. But he wins the Controller Player of the Year, which is quite the performance really from Formal, given that pretty much this time last year he was done and dusted, going to retire, and that was going to be it for his career. So crazy stuff. Hitch kind of accepts the award for him, just like I think Maniac accepted the award for him a few years ago. So yeah, kind of funny the way that works out. Now, this also from Nate that was really cool. He won the Esports Personality of the Year. He does go on to describe here on Twitter that he would much prefer to have won either a Team of the Year one or an Organisation of the Year one, but he's going to take this. I think Hex has won this award in the past. Nadeshot's done a great job, and it's just cool to see Nadeshot thriving as well in what he's doing right now. 100 Thieves still, and yes, macroeconomic conditions are uncertain, but 100 Thieves, like, still to me are like the most attractive organisation in the entire entirety of esports right now, but in terms of pure results and success this season, OpTic probably outdid them by a little bit, and therefore they won Esports Organization of the Year. Pretty interesting result here, just because I know that people were moaning about this, or there were some fans from Loud and stuff that wanted their organization to win, which I understand, but at the same time, OpTic won so many things this year in so many different titles. Their Dallas Fuel team and Overwatch, I don't really follow that closely, but apparently they were pretty good. I think they picked up a Rocket League team as well, or maybe they were formerly Envy Rocket League. I don't know about that one. The ones I know about are Apex Legends. They had a great team there. Of course, their Valorant team won at Masters 1 this season and was, made the grand finals of the World Championships as well. And then topped off really by not just the Halo team winning the World Championship, but also helped, I'm sure, by the Major 1 victory that OpTic had in Call of Duty Vanguard at their own event a few months ago. So pretty crazy stuff to think about. Of course, I'm sure this helped the case. Maybe without this victory at Major 1, they don't win it and another organization does win it. But yeah, cool stuff from OpTic, and it's also good to see that the merger is kind of working out for them, and hopefully this can be a long-term arrangement. There's been so much drama from an ownership perspective with OpTic Gaming the last few years, going from being owned by Hex to being owned by kind of the Infinite Esports group, then going to Immortals, then Hex and Scump and co leave, they go to NRG with Andy Miller and the Chicago Huntsmen, then they get the OpTic branding back, they then stay as the OpTic Chicago for the next season, then they split apart, new owner in Hastro and the Envy group, and this seems to have been the iteration that's worked out for them the best. They've delivered the results on and off the pitch, let's say on and off the server, and that they got the organization of the year as well. So congratulations to all involved. And this I thought was also funny to mention, just along those lines, that you guys probably remember this from a few months ago now, where the OpTic Apex guys with fake Scump and fake Formal here were kind of trying to do a tribute to the original photo from these two. So yeah, all of these part of the same organization and all winning that award in their own way. Hex accepts the award, pretty cool stuff. Well deserved to all the guys working on this and the organization behind it, because yeah, OpTic dominated this year in so many different esports. It is kind of cool to see the way this has worked out after the last few years of difficult and tumultuous times for OpTic to now be back on top in many different fields. But will they be back on top this upcoming weekend? They're certainly not the favourites going into it. I've seen a couple of tier lists people have done. I would say right now there's definitely no S tier team in my estimation. I don't think there's any team that has separated themselves from the rest. No team has looked unbeatable by any means. There's probably a few A tier teams. Toronto, probably FaZe, and I might still put Thieves in there despite the fact that they lost to Florida. All those teams have been defeated by someone or another. Those are probably my three favourite teams in some order or another. Then you've got to consider OpTic, then you've probably got to put Minnesota near enough, and then the rest can probably file in from there. But just to mention this also, only 6 pros ever in COD history have won their first ever LAN they attended. Scump, understandably, is one of them, big time at Rambo, Sharp, Dodgers, and Bobby. So some old school names I'm sure some of you guys won't know, but there are 2 pros this weekend turning up for their first ever official kind of pro level LAN, Scrappy and Vickle. So Vickle on Florida seems unlikely, but Scrappy could reasonably join this list of players to win their first ever kind of official professional LAN. But very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.